On the occasion of National Science Day 2024, I welcome our resource person, Professor Bhagirathi Panda, Professor of Economics, Northeastern Hill University, and Honorary Director of ICSSR, NERC Shillong.
Thank you.
I welcome all our participants from various parts of Northeast India. Today's session has been divided into two parts. First sessions will be on observation of National Science Day 2024, and the second part is on first learner lectures on science project. National Science Day is celebrated every year to commemorate the mark of discovery of Raman effect by Indian Nobel laureate Sir Chandrasekhar Venkataraman in the year 1930. I hope many of you know this discovery. Those who are physics and chemistry, they know the effect. Also, they also read the India syllabus Raman effect. The theme of the National Science Day 2024 is Indigenous Technology for Viksit Bharat. The theme for this year celebration reflect a strategic focus on promoting public appreciation for science, technology, and innovation. The word now, along with science, technology, there is another word is added, which is called innovations. There is a dream for accomplishment of Indian scientists to address challenges through homegrown technology for overall well-being. This indigenous technology development will create a new dimensions to India's development. This will not only create a new era but also present an opportunity for public and scientific fraternity, both domestically and internationally, to collaborate, work together, and contribute to the well-being of India and humanity as a whole. By this process of indigenous technology development, one day our country will be self-reliant or Atmanirbhar through science. This underscores the need to take responsibility for addressing issues of global importance. For the last few years, India has developed many things and achieved in the field of science and technology. We are globally among the top 5 countries in scientific research publication, 40th in Global Innovation Index, and patent filing has crossed 90,000, which is highest in 2 decades. All of this is due to strengthening of science, technology, and innovation ecosystems in the nation in fields such as artificial intelligence, astronomy, solar and wind energy, semiconductors, climate research, space research, and biotechnology. Indian scientific breakthrough have reached from the lab to moon with the successful landing of Chandrayaan-3. India is also acknowledged for robust vaccine development capacity, and it has been provided during COVID pandemic. India is now ready to match the global stride in quantum technology. The impact of Indian scientific breakthrough is significant, enhancing and ease of living for common man. With all with this all, I once again welcome you all to these programs. Now, as you know, our today's speaker is Professor Bhagavati Panda. I'm introducing all our esteemed participants to Professor Bhagirathi Panda. Professor Bhagirathi Panda, currently working as a Professor of Economics, Northeastern Hill University, and Honorary Director of ICCR, NERC Shillong. Earlier, he was also the Dean of the School of Economics, Management and Information Science, and Head of the Department of Economics, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong. During 2008-9, Professor Panda was also on the faculty of IIM Shillong. Professor Panda is an Asian Fellow of Asian Scholarship Foundations and works in different universities at various capacities. He has more than 30 years of teaching and research experience in different universities and colleges of the country and abroad. Has also published a number of research articles in different national and international journals. He has guided 11 PhD research students. Professor Panda was a member of the expert committee on effective initiative under Mahatma Gandhi NREGA administration, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, 2012-13, Working Committee on Capacity Building of MG NREGA, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, Expert Committee to formulate research methodology for studies on various aspects of MG NREGA, Minister of Rural Development, Government of India, 2010. He also undertaken a number of research projects on topics such as Act East Policy and Transactions Cost, MGNREGA, Urban Informal Sector, and Rural Non-Formal Employment from Agencies. We are fortunate that despite his busy schedule, Sir has accepted our invitations. I now kindly request you, sir, to deliver your lectures, the keynote speakers. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rahul Bhattacharya, the respected regional director of IGNOU Shillong, and all our esteemed participants, guests, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So it's an honor on my part to be with all of you on this very occasion, and then share some of my reflections on the contemporary developmental situation in our country and position our country, in the context of our objective, our goal to become a developed country. I'm the Viksit Bharat by 2047. So, I think what's the current base from which you are starting, and what are the? I think I will in the course of my discussion I will be discussing, reflecting upon on the current situation of development of our country in different dimensions, and then what we can do to become a developed nation in 2047 and the way forward. So let me start with, then let me, I think it would be better to remain focused to share my PowerPoint presentation. So can I just request the organizers to
Yes,
allow me screen sharing?
yes,
If they can allow me screen sharing,
yes,
then
sir,
we can
yes.
do it.
Yes, very-
Has it been done? So
Uh,
once it's done, please let me know.
no, sir, no, sir, no, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You just be there. They are allowing from their side. They are allowing from their side, and then after that.
Yes,
Has it been done? Then I can proceed.
okay, sir, okay, sir.
Has it been done? The screen sharing?
No, 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 sir, no, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Still. Sir, you may go out and again join. Then maybe some issue maybe
Okay. So should I? I'm
leave
say.
and then join, sir. And maybe
Okay.
get problem solved.
Okay. Okay.
No, 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 no. Only join, na? Okay, sir. Sir, you are muted, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is showing. Now it is showing. Yes, sir. Sir, you are muted, sir. Unmuted, sir. they make this too much of technology friendly. Menu no is behind his working.
Yes, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're not.
Okay. Window to share screen. Into the window. Just give me a minute. Is it visible now? Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead.
Yes.
So let me start with the present scenario with our own country, our respective achievements that we have different dimensions of our development process. So it's all about the present Bharat. As you all know, we are the largest democracy in the world. We are the fifth largest economy of the world in terms of USA dollars, but then in terms of PPP dollars, we are the third largest economy of the world. We are the fourth defense power of the world. We are the fifth space power in the world. And we are also a nation with all kinds of diversities, all kinds of cultural, historical, and social capital are plenty. I think rich cultural, historical, and social capital. I think we won't find any other country in the world having so much of this cultural and social capital. Then we are the, when it comes to IT, I think we are the one of the leading powerhouse of the world when it comes to IT. We also run one of the biggest financial inclusion initiatives in the world, that is called this PMJDY, that's Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, which happens to be the largest financial inclusion program or initiative run anywhere in the world. So this is the largest such kind of a program. We also, I think, run one of the largest and the biggest government-sponsored or public-sponsored healthcare system in the world. And also, we have contributed to world peace significantly by contributing nearly 1,95,000 troops, the largest number from any other country, which has contributed to UN's peace keeping exercises. So that gives all of us an understanding the kind of farm footing gradually we have today when it comes to the global platform in many dimensions, whether starting from economy to defense to experimentation with democracy to space technology to our heritage capital to our IT revolution, our financial inclusion, and then our very farm healthcare system that we have. And in addition to that also, we have not in fact given up our responsibility to contribute to world peace at the level of United Nations. So that's the Bharat that we now are having. But then this farm foundation, I think ultimately, I think needs to be taken further to realize some of our cherished objectives, dreams, and goals. So let's go to the next slide to find out, I think, what could be our goals in the near future. As the very title of the topic, which has given to me to, I think, reflect upon, it reads as indigenous technology for Viksit Bharat. So it's all about the Viksit Bharat, the developed India, developed Bharat. Now, we have, I think, made a projection and a commitment that we would become a developed country by 2047, or if possible, before that. That's one of our prime goal, in the context of, I think, the evolving nature of global developmental dynamics. Then second, to realize this objective, I think we need to of course, in addition to whatever positive developments, significant developments we have done in different dimensions of development of our country, which I just showed 2 minutes before in previous slide. In terms of income, I think in US dollars, we need to have per capita income, measuring about 12,000 to 15,000 US dollars. I mean to say,
Sorry to
hello.
disturb. Sorry to disturb, sir. Your slide is
Yeah.
not moving. Maybe some problems.
Acha, acha. Okay. So I have to, I think,
Yes, yes, yes. Now
yeah,
moving.
now.
Now it's okay.
Okay, okay, okay. So I think I was talking about, after having discussed the tremendous achievements that we have done over the last couple of decades in different dimensions of development, I was discussing our envisaged goals. And here comes, in tune with the title of this lecture, the first goal which we have defined to achieve is the goal of becoming a developed country, a Viksit Bharat by 2047, and if possible, even before. Now, in this context comes, as I said, the per capita income, the concept of per capita income, realization of per capita income. As it stands today, we have plenty of achievements as you have seen in the previous slide. But one of the requirements to become a developed country is to increase your per capita income. And as it stands today, in terms of USD dollars, our per capita income in 2023 was around 2,612 USD dollars. This at least needs to be increased to, I think, 12,000 to 15,000 USD dollars. This is one of the things that we need to do, and in fact, we are fast moving towards that kind of that kind of a realization in terms of our different kind of initiatives. I'll be talking about some of the initiatives subsequently. Then we would also like to be the largest or the second largest economy of the world. That's our goal. Maybe by 2030, by 2047, we would like to become the largest, or if not possible, at least the second largest economy of the world. Then we also would like to become, the one of the, you can say, significant space power. We are already a significant space power, but we would like to occupy the first, second position when it comes to the space technology and space power in the context of the world. Then we have also, the goal of eliminating poverty, absolute poverty, I think, completely. And it has started happening. You might have heard that 2 days back, Niti Aayog came up with a survey wherein it shows very clearly that our poverty has gone down. The poverty percentage ratio has gone down to almost like 5%. So a significant fall in the poverty ratio, absolute poverty ratio. And that also shows, that survey also shows the fast decline of inequality, I think, in the country, I think amongst different sections of the society. Then we would also like to become an education's power and skill power of the world. As it stands today, I think in the context of education, we are through this NEP, New Education Policy 2020, we aspire to benchmark many of the global practices, best practices in higher education, including accreditation, brand building, quality of education, education for skill building, improving the skill sets, and provide more of, make people more employable and demanded all across the world, including our own country by our own industries. So this is also a cherished goal of ours, to become an educational power of the whole world. I'm to say, giving the best world-class education with the required amount of, embedded with the required kind of skill. And in this context, I can just share with all of you that NEP 2020 is very, it has made a very elaborate arrangements and frameworks to realize this very objective of becoming an education power in near future. And here itself also in NEP 2020, I think if some of you have seen it, or have gone through it, you would see there itself that one of the very objective there is to to promote globalization of Indian higher education system, to promote globalization of higher education. And in this context comes the role of what we call indigenization of higher education. And see, when we would like to export more of educational services to rest part of the world, what nowadays United States of America is doing, Europe is doing, or even very recently, very aggressively, China has started doing it. But we have not been able to do that much in exporting education as a service and gain foreign exchange or secure good amount of income for our country. Time has come, and NEP is for that only, that we create a very robust higher educational system at par the best of the institutions of the world, and then leverage it for two things. One is for our own development, for improving the quality of education in our own country, and also to leverage it as a source of tremendous income generation for our country. Just as United States of America or or European countries are doing for their own country. Then we would also like to become the manufacturing hub of the world. And here itself, indigenous technology is going to play a role. And just, I think, let me also give you a little bit of understanding with respect to education and our indigenous knowledge, how we can bring in some kind of how we can build some kind of a USP, unique selling points of our educational system. So, as I told earlier to all of you, that you won't find any other country in the world having such a rich diversity capital in the social space, in the historical space, in the cultural space, and in many other spaces. So much of richness in terms of our culture, our language, our dances, our food, our anything you name for that matter. You won't get that much of diversity or the such a huge you can say expanded basket of cultural capital in any other country of the world. Time has come now, and we are in that, and I think we are in that journey itself, that we use it, we leverage this cultural capital and make it a part of our educational syllabus, so that people from rest part of the world, when they come for research, for higher studies, I think they get to know because of this unique I can say things in our own country. This guy studying, India is studying, I think world in its different dimensions. So that would create a kind of a USP for our higher education system, so that our education system will be much more attractive to foreign students to come to our country, spending their own money, which will become a very significant source of income generation for us. Much more attractive to. And number two, when it comes to to become the manufacturing hub of the world, if you look at the the evolution process of development of many of the developed countries of the world. So, United States of America, European countries, Western European countries, what have they done actually at different stages of time, very recent history. See, thousands of years back, we were also very highly, contemporary to that time. We were, I think, a very developed civilization, having our own industrial arrangements, agricultural arrangements. So we are a power to be reckoned with, let's say, for example, even thousands and thousands years back. But if you take the last 400 to 500 years of I think history of development, then what we find, all of you know actually how we were subjected to this vivid, very explicit exploitation by the colonial powers, particularly the British, and of course others, but then primarily by the British, and how because of their invasion, because of their exploitation, the India, which was at one point of time used to call the Golden India, I think lost its competitiveness in many fields, and ultimately we became a colony, and we were subject to that kind of an economic exploitation and the economic crisis that I think we went through, and subsequently post-independence, we had to, I think, we had to start again afresh, and embark upon our journey of development. But then, if when I look at the evolution of the development practices of the world, you will find many of these European countries in the 18th century, starting from 18th century, they relied very much on industrial expansion and manufacture, and they become manufacturing hubs of the world. And they started exporting different kinds of commodities to the rest part of the world, and that made them very rich, economically rich countries, isn't it? But subsequently, they lost that competitive advantage in manufacturing because of the rising labor cost of production, and as a result of which manufacturing hubs shifted from European countries to United States of America, from USA to different kinds, to Japan, and then subsequent to some of the Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, etc., etc. And then labor cost of production also started increasing in all these countries, whether it's USA or Japan, or for that matter, Southeast Asian countries. And then for the last 30 years, I think Chinese have a monopoly, I think almost like a monopoly with respect to manufacturing many of the critical commodities of the world, including pharmaceutical, processes, etc. So, and hardwares and electronic hardwares, etc. Now, the time has come for us. It is India's time, because we have one of the lowest labor cost of production, at the global level amongst the major countries of the world. And then we have a highly educated and skilled manpower also. I think in terms of, if you look at the kind of graduates which are coming out of the universities, of course we have some problems with respect to quality, but in absolute numbers we have huge number of even I think good and I think highly qualified and skilled engineers and workers coming out of the institutes and the universities. So the labor cost of production has started very fast increasing in China during the last 8-9 years. So that's why China is going to lose its status of manufacturing hub of the world, and that gives an opportunity to countries like ours to become the world manufacturing hub. And if you look at actually this present dispensation, the kind of initiatives that this dispensation has taken right from 2014 and onwards, you can see that we have all this Startup India program, Digital India program, Make in India program. See, they're all basically meant to make India the manufacturing hub of the world. I'll give you some statistics to show how we are progressing to realize that kind of a dream or a goal. Next slides I will show all of you. So we would like to become the manufacturing hub of the world. And remember, this manufacturing hub lasts with you for 2 decades or 3 decades, and after that actually you become also like the United States of America or the Europe, you also become high cost labor economy. Then you lose that competitive advantage, and then you depend more on services sector to gain more of, or to realize more of income. So that's why when it is our turn, let's leave no stone unturned to become the world's manufacturing hub, and that's what the present dispensation at the central government level is doing. Then we have also this very objective impact. This is overdue to us to become a permanent member of the UN Security Council. If you look at the scale of activities, the dimensions of the activities, the plethora of activities at the world level wherein Indian participation is there, it's huge. Starting from, I think, contributing to UN peacekeeping, sending our own troops, taking part in different deliberations at the United Nations, different organizations, be it UN General Assembly, be it ILO, be it World Bank. I think you can find actually the participation of India is very, very explicit at one point of time. And, just to give you an anecdote, 40-50 years back, Chinese were no here. In fact, many of these international organizations, starting from WTO, even United Nations also, the Chinese presence was not very much there itself visible. But subsequently, I think it was India, at one point of time, introduced China to the, you can say that UN and even many of these world level, global level, developmental institutions. But it's another story that because of different reasons. They are, what you call, they are centralized kind of dispensation. They could become one of the economic powers of the world. But we are going to become an economic power. We're already an economic power, but we are going to be the third largest, and maybe the second largest economy of the world with democracy. That's a big achievement. We can't jettison democracy. That is one of our biggest strengths. And to become a world economic power with experimentation in democracy, I think is a unique experimentation in the world with the kind of complexities, nuances we have. United States of America became, I think, I still remember I think it was Bill Clinton, I think you remember, he gave a statement somewhere in Delhi at one point of time. I hope I'm not mistaken, but then maybe. So I still remember he said, somebody asked him, how would you, describe India? Then he said, India is a civilization, America is a country. I repeat, India is a civilization, America is a country. How true is it? That's a country of 500 years. We are a civilization of thousands and thousands years back. So our experimentation with democracy is age old. So that's why to become an economic superpower with the experimentation of democracy is not a small job. And we are proud of that, and we'll continue with that. Then let me go to the third slide, which is the way forward. How do we go about it? And that's very much related to the title of the topic, the title of the lecture, that I am delivering. Indigenous technology for a Viksit Bharat. Now, why do we require technology? Isn't it? Or how do we realize these goals? Now, see, ultimately, to realize these goals which I have just, some of the goals which I have just presented before you in the previous slide, the first and foremost thing is to promote entrepreneurship in our country. The kind of a developmental model that we have experimented post-independence was not, I think, for 5 decades, was not very conducive towards private entrepreneurship. We, of course, maybe because of the situation and all that, so what we did actually, we depended more on the government to kickstart the process of development, and we continued with that for a long period. In fact, that dependency of, continuity of development practice with the government for a long time in all areas, I think was little far-fetched. So we should have somewhere actually gradually started to incentivize entrepreneurship, private entrepreneurship in our development process. Anyway, that was not done, but then I think it's all started, in a manner in mid 80s. From 1985, it started in a small scale. 1991, you all remember actually, that gave a firm, I think, footing when it comes to process of liberalization to promote private entrepreneurship. And after that, when this current dispensation came, Modi ji came to power, then I think the process of giving emphasis and making entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship contribution as the single cornerstone of our development process got accentuated, and we are in fact trying to scale it up, deepen this process to make it, I think, one of the most important strategy for our future developments process. Now, so promotion of entrepreneurship and rest of the things actually, technology, everything actually ultimately, they're all meant to promote this culture of entrepreneurship and income generation and employment generation through entrepreneurship. Now, see, how do we realize entrepreneurship? Scaled, pervasive, contributing, efficient entrepreneurship in a country. I remember one developmental economist called Schumpeter. Schumpeter said that development primarily happens through entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship happens through creative destruction. I repeat, he said, Development happens through entrepreneurs primarily, fundamentally. The government and others are there to supplement, but then primarily it should happen through entrepreneurs. Then entrepreneurship flourishes through a process which is said, a concept and a process which is said creative destruction. What is that creative destruction? Creative destruction is all about to creatively destroy an existing arrangement of production of goods or services. For example, just I'm saying to make all of you aware of it, today you can see, look at mobile technology, mobile as a product. Today, you purchase a mobile in market, a particular brand with a particular technology. After 15 days, you see that is obsolete, new technology has come to the market. Another firm, today, let's say, for example, Samsung comes with a particular, version of a, let's say, mobile technology. You see, after 15 days, you find, some other company, let's say, for example, Google or Apple, Apple, it comes up with another technology, much better technology. So, see, this is called creative destruction. Means there's a constant, continuous, seamless, seamless competition amongst entrepreneurs by innovating new technology, bringing in new technology, and destroying the existing technology or arrangement and bringing in a new technology, bring a new product. This is called creative destruction. And creative destruction, I think the practice of creative destruction was not that much pervasive, seamless at any point of time in the history as it is today. Today, you can see, I have given you this example of mobile technology. This is true for any other electronic goods, for gadgets, for example, you can think about it. It's also true for services delivery. Look at financial services. Look at how the banks are themselves competing, with each other to provide a better service. And creative destruction, mind it, is not only with respect to technology or with respect to only, let's say, for example, producing a new variety of a new type of a commodity through innovation. It's also about innovation in the management practices. I mean, say if you have a new management strategy, the way you serve people, for example, banking services the banks always try to innovate new, new products and also new way of serving existing products. One bank has it's okay, now many of the banks are appointing by, what's called personal relation managers. And some are innovating with new kind of strategies. So there is a competition. This is also creative destruction in the field of services. And that's also happening in the field of education, where many of us work. You can see now with IT revolution and leveraging of IT technology, how, with IT, how the nature of education, the delivery of educational services is also very fast changing. So there is also a concept of creative destruction in the sphere of educational services, delivery of educational services. That's creative destruction. So entrepreneurship is all about resorting to this practice of creative destruction, wherein the one entrepreneur competes with other and creatively destroys an existing production arrangement and brings in a new product or a new service or new way of serving an existing product, or for that matter, a service. And creative destruction, friends, happens through the important institution of what we call innovations. And that's what I think today's, today's lecture, I think, is meant for that. Innovation, I think Dr. Rahul was hinting at this innovation. How important is it? Innovation. And when it comes to innovation, I think, honestly speaking, the emphasis on innovation in our country is of recent origin. Only 10, and I would say very significantly, critically, it all started 9-10 years back. Before that, we were never giving that much of emphasis on innovation. So that's why I think, if you look at actually the global innovation index score, at one point of time, we were 100, then 90, then 80, and but then with the current dispensation giving a lot of emphasis on innovation, and we have now adopted a national innovation system also. And Niti Aayog is working very closely with this kind of an arrangement. And with that, what has happened actually, we have our rank is fast improving. Currently, I think we stand at 68 or 64 at the Committee of Nations. But on particular dimensions, as Dr. Rahul was telling, we are also somewhere 14, we are somewhere 20. But overall, I think our innovation index score is, I think we are ranked at 68th, 64th of the, I'm not 100% sure, maybe 64 or 68th at the world level. But it's a fast improvement. Every year our rank is improving. And in fact, you look at actually the small countries like, for example, South Korea or Israel, they are in the first tens of the global innovation index score. And we being such a, powerful country, I think we should be in the first 10. I think very soon, actually, a couple of years after, maybe we will be in the first 10 of the innovative countries of the world. Then, friends, the last thing which I would like to, emphasize upon, then I will share some of the data to substantiate, validate some of the arguments, and also to put forward, I think, forcefully my argument for different kind of strategies to follow to realize these envisaged goals. Three things are very important for growth of entrepreneurship: innovation, creative destruction, and innovation. I have said. Let me share before I come to the next one will be infrastructure, and the third one will be institutions. Now, let me share some slides with the innovation, and after that I will come back to infrastructure and institutions. Look at, we have this present dispensation has come up with a number of schemes to promote the innovation ecosystem in our country, starting with this Startup India initiative and innovations. Let's see, this initiatives launched in January 2016, and its objectives were to create a robust startup ecosystem to support entrepreneurship and create a class of job creators, not job seekers, as we often call these days. And there is the follow-up initiatives came up in terms of different specific programs like Atal Innovation Mission, Technology Business Incubation, TBI centers, funds by SIDBI, the Biotechnology Ignition Grant, big scheme. That's also one important, I think, area. And then venture capital funding, which was at one point of time very much foreign to us. But now you can all understand there are a very good number of enterprises which are coming up, startups coming up, resorting to this venture capital route. Now, some more statistics. A snapshot of Startup India by March 2022. The startup was launched, Startup India program was launched, and I'm saying, see, by now what has happened after this program was being launched, I think more than 57,000 startups have been, have come up in our country. More than 100 unicorns, that is startups having a worth of more than 1 billion, I think, US dollars. They have come up in our country, more than 100, and many of them are, of course, now located in Bangalore, but gradually also the diversification happened to other cities of the country. Then the combined valuation of Indian startups is more than 450 billion US dollars. A big achievement, although miles to go, but still it's a big achievement. Then 131 billion total capital has been raised by the Indian startups between 2014 and 2022. Can you imagine, no? The amount, 131 billion US dollars. And around 7.68 lakhs of jobs have been created during this period, 2014 to 2022, through launching of the Startup India program by means of bringing in startups, which also include unicorns. Significant achievement. Then some related story concerning Startup India initiative. Innovative technology is the most important driving force of Startup India. Innovative technology, and that's where indigenous technology also comes to play. I mean, say when you talk about innovative technology, see, somewhere actually down the line, in fact, we achieved a lot, but then we also did a lot of some blunders also, or some mistakes also. For example, although we tried to, we had this program, I think the developmental program was, post-independence for 1947, 1950, when we had started with this planning commission era. Then we get more emphasis on I think import substitution. So we didn't allow our entrepreneurship to flourish by competing with the world. I think the entrepreneurs at the world level, we didn't allow them to import best of the technology so that they can improve upon. So we had a very narrow domestic outlook. So we didn't give much emphasis on innovation, on technology, and whatever technology we imported for our domestic industries, that was mostly Western technology, and also Western countries were not giving the state-of-the-art technology to us. They are all giving their second-generation technology to us, or third-generation technology to us. So we are a technology deficient country in the sense you were all getting this Western technology mostly, which are not state-of-the-art, because we adopted a developmental model which was basically inward looking model. We did not encourage export promotion. Just imagine some of the Southeast Asian countries, smaller countries like Malaysia. Malaysia today, it's 30% of its income, GDP, comes through export only. It's a small country. Whereas when it comes to our country, we are not a very, a known country for exports. Although things have started happening now for the last 10 to 14 years, things have started changing. But then we have to become an export-oriented country and having our own technology. Defense, for example, friends, you will know, pretty long time, the story of defense dependency on export of technology from USSR or other, US and other European countries is known to everyone. But today, I think 40% to 50% of our requirements of technology in defense is through our innovation in our native technology. That is indigenous technology. And we have a plan to see that. I think it should be 100%. We should not be dependent on any other country in the world when it comes to our defense technology. Similarly, the case of space technology. We are now a space power. I think, I should not name the country from which we wanted, space technology. I think at one point of time, they didn't give us the state-of-the-art technology. They said, no, one would like to see that, you become the superpower of the world. So we were always, and we are spending huge amounts of dollars to get that second best or third best technology, not the best technology from some of these Western countries. So now our space technology is gradually becoming, dominated by our own innovation, our own indigenous technology. Similarly, also with respect to Dr. Rahul was talking about the COVID vaccine and India's contribution to the world. Look at actually the scale at which we produced, and at a short time we could produce so many vaccines to the world and exported it to more than 40 plus 50 countries of the world. That itself speaks of, that is innovation, and that's a native innovation. That is indigenous technology. We didn't depend on any other country to get that technology. Our entrepreneurs developed that technology, and initially there was a lot of, Western countries, they have vested interest. They would not like to see that the Indian entrepreneurs making so much of money by exporting that technology. It is so cheaper rate. When the Western countries, they innovate, bring in new technology, there is a huge price attached to that technology when you like to import, even if the second best technology also. Now, look at actually COVID experimentation, the technology that came up, the vaccine is also an innovation par excellence. And that experimentation showed to the world that India is very much equipped with the necessary infrastructure ecosystem to come up with best of the technology, scale it up, and at that scale, and then significantly reduce and give it to the whole world, significantly provide it to the whole world at a much, much cheaper rate. That some of the Western powers would not like to. But we have a global responsibility, just as we have a responsibility for our own citizens. So that's the power of native innovation, the indigenous technology. So whether it's healthcare, whether it is, now you can all understand there's flow of people from rest part of the world to our country for treatment in our best of our medical, hospitals. I was the other day was in Medanta Hospital for treatment for a wife. I could see they have a separate cell for foreigners. Huge number of foreigners they do come and get treated, and they have full faith on the Indian technology, which I think it's a combination of Western and Indian technology. Gradually, also we are trying to improve upon our own technology there itself in the healthcare. So that's where actually we are moving right now. Then we have technology business incubators, venture capital funds. These are being promoted to de-risk the process of such commercialization. See, entrepreneurship, friends, entrepreneurship is all about also risk taking. When you involve in creative destruction as an entrepreneur, you take huge risk. And I think because of this colonial subjugation for almost a couple of decades, or I think for more than a century, what happened? The spirit of entrepreneurship with us, which was at one point of time very much visible in ancient India with us, I think got banned, got evaporated. That's why that risk-taking, I mean to say, spirit also substantially got subsumed. And it's now time that we as entrepreneurs, build up institutions to de-stress our entrepreneurs, to de-risk our entrepreneurs, and in the process actually, I think, build up institutions like a highly developed capital market, money market, and then what you call the venture capitalist institution, so that our entrepreneur and the government's guarantee. You see, when you undertake entrepreneurship such a large scale, some of them are startups are bound to fail. But that failure is not a failure in true sense of the term. That failure is the basis of our success. That's what it happens in entrepreneurship. When you have hundreds of, thousands and crores of entrepreneurs coming up, it's natural that some of them would fail, and they learn from that experimentation. So there should be an arrangement in terms of government provisioning, cushion, and cushioning should be there. Yes, TBIs are there, venture capitalists are there. In addition to that also, the government has its own arrangement to see that actually genuine entrepreneurs who are in the process of innovation do not suffer when they do not succeed in the first attempt. Okay, so we have to build that kind of an ecosystem of cushioning of the, the startup entrepreneurs who do experiment failure. And now, many of these technology business incubators are being established in collaboration with higher education institutions, universities, IITs, and others. Sorry. So this is where again, I mean, say, what has happened actually? See, this is again, see, the kind of higher education system that we have inherited and we have eulogized, because this is a colonial, I can say, a gift to us, in a sense, a very bad gift. They had colonized and they had created an education system which will serve their own interest. So they didn't want, much of skill formation in Indian, through education, in Indians, native Indians. That's why we are made to be clerks, we are made to be XYZ, not to be, I think, have that skill set and then to become world-class entrepreneurs. But then NEP and subsequently, as we all see, the initiatives taken by the government of India, I think now that convergence between higher educational institutions and industry, I think has started happening, and we need to scale it up in days to come. Now, let me give you some data with respect to the TBIs. Number of active incubators now, 3,681. Number of incubators are 153. This is 2020 data. Maybe I have not updated it. My apology for that. But this gives you a little bit of understanding how we are moving. Number of IPRs created and filed 1,992, etc. So things are all moving and moving very fast. It's not gradual. You can see. If you look at the data with respect to startups, with respect to different dimensions of innovations, we'll see somewhere there is a jump also, not simply being a gradual kind of increase or a what you call incremental increase. It's not incremental increase. Somewhere you'll find a quantum jump also. Now, let me now come to infrastructure. The second thing which is required to make India to make Bharat Viksit Bharat through entrepreneurship is to provide critical infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, I mean physical, I'm saying economic, social, and institutional, and social infrastructure. When I say economic, it means a lot of physical roads, railways, facilities, airports, waterways. And look at the situation, how things are happening. Let me give you this data with respect to Northeast India. During this period, 2014 to March 2022, the amount, see, there has been an increase of 180 times increase in expenditure, investment, and that way in expenditure in the northeastern region for develop. Say not 285 times. I'm sorry, my apology. 285 times increase with respect to investment in infrastructure in the Northeast during this period, 2014 to 2022 March. Unbelievable. And that gets reflected. I think you can all see, we're all, I think, moving around. You can see the kind of infrastructure which is coming, the 4 laning of roads, 6 laning of roads, 2 laning of roads, where no road was existing earlier. Look at the water, look at actually how Assam, for example, and other states also. Look at Arunachal, the kind of, at one point, I started my educational career in a government college long back in Arunachal Pradesh. That's called, Teju in Loit district. I had to go there itself by, I think, those motor boats and all that. Look at now, the other, after 25 years, one day I had been to that place, that college, and I saw there's no 4 laning of all kinds. One of the largest bridges of Asia is there itself. It's connecting to Dibrugarh, connecting to Tinsukia. It's a pleasure to drive down there itself and reach out the place so quickly and so efficiently. So Arunachal has undergone massive development. So also other northeastern states. So many of the northeastern states in the many of the northeastern states in the country, they have in fact gone through this process and experimenting with huge and realizing huge infrastructure. And as I said, infrastructure is the, after innovation, infrastructure is the second best requirement to promote entrepreneurship, because it substantially reduces the cost of doing business and entrepreneur and industry. The transportation cost goes down, the transaction cost goes down when better infrastructure is provided. And the paucity of time, let me go to the next is about the next institution is institutions themselves. Institutions are also equally important to promote development along with innovation and infrastructure. If at all we want to make, if in our journey, in our objective of becoming a developed country, Viksit Bharat in 2047 or even before that. Institutions, when I say institutions, I talk about two formal institutions and informal institutions. Formal institutions are government, different layers of government, central, state, local, and informal institutions are all about beliefs, community values, practices, moorings. They are all informal institutions. And when it comes to the development of northeastern region, in addition to innovation and infrastructure and of course capital, I think institutions are extremely important. That is why when we talk about ease of doing business, that ease of doing business is all about institutional reforms. It's about governance reforms. The government should play that enabling role in terms of having very efficient regulatory agencies. The government should facilitate entrepreneurship in terms of bringing down the nepotism, favoritism, license raj, which was at one point of time, I think, engulfing our industrial space. That's where the role of institutions like government comes. So government can also help, for example, in reducing, in making property rights defined in the Northeast. It can significantly also help to reduce the transaction cost by providing better infrastructure. See, so that's why governance, it can, one of the important requirements of entrepreneurship to bloom is to provide, in the Northeast, for example, to provide a secure environment, the rule of law, which we call, for example, efficient rule of law. I think ensuring, I think protection. So these are all called governance measures, and these are all institutional arrangements. So that's why the role of institutions like government, communities, civil society is extremely important in promoting the spirit of the practice of entrepreneurship, creating more of income and employment. So finally, let me end it off, friends. And in this context, finally, I think I have already given you these examples why traditional and native knowledge. Two things. One is when it's an indigenous technology, it means both the native technology, which now we have shown, demonstrated to the world in the field of defense, space, IT, banking, insurance, even management aspects also. Look at our electoral system also. Forget about defense, space, IT, these are all visible to everyone of it. Even when we manage electorals, elections, look at the kind of technology that we have, native technology that we have embedded there itself. No other country in the world, such a huge experimentation of democracy we are doing with these machines. That's our indigenous technology. You can all understand. It's not that we are only doing it in the field of science, technology, defense, space, IT, banking, insurance, or other kind. These things, in all these economic spaces, they are doing it also even in the in the electoral space to strengthen our democracy, to reduce our cost. So that's the role of native technology, indigenous. And then we have also traditional knowledge. For example, any tribal society in the Northeast, they have their age-old preserved traditional knowledge, whether it comes to drip irrigation in agricultural practices, or in fact, in preserving the environment, including forest. That traditional knowledge, I think, at one point of time we are being looked down upon. Today, time has come. We are again going back to rediscover those traditional knowledge and then make it a part of our native technology. Because today, development is not all about income. It's about also social security. It has three dimensions today. Sustainable, we call it sustainable development. Sustainable development has three dimensions: economic sustainability, social sustainability, and environmental sustainability. It's not only about income, it's all about also, promoting environmental sustainability so that the development process doesn't ruin our environment. So that also needs to be taken care of. Plus, social cohesion, social capital, income inequality should not be that much. So that social dimension also is equally important, that environmental dimension is also equally important. And native technology, particularly technology based on traditional knowledge, has all the characteristics to make the environment, to make the economy and the society environmentally and socially sustainable. And that is one of the greatest contribution of our to the rest of the world. I think, friends, let me, end up here itself. I have taken a lot of time of yours. So let me, I think, stop my presentation. Now it's over to Dr. Rahul. Just a minute. I have to end this presentation. Let me. I think there's a problem. Let me just call. Yes, you can go ahead actually. So, Dr. Rahul. Yeah, I'm just If from your side you can stop that screen sharing, that will be good.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. My
I think
computer has some problems, and I can continue with this. Some problems, some technology is sometimes bone or something bane also. So, sir, thank you for highlighting all these India's contributions to world as a developed country by 2047 or earlier by eliminating poverty, inequality in society, and the education system high skill. Our education system should be skilled. So, sir, you have covered up many things like uh, creative distraction. This is first things I have heard. Creative distraction through innovation, through infrastructure development, and institutions. So, sir, thank you once again. If any you have any question, please raise your hands. Otherwise, sir is busy. We can leave sir for other word. Yes, Bhaskar has raised his hand.
yes.
Go ahead, sir.
So good afternoon, sir. Just a
Afternoon.
simple question. Since you talked about India being the fifth largest GDP in terms of US dollar and third largest in terms of PPP.
Yes.
So, could you tell me what is more important as an economist, the PPP figure or the US dollar figure?
See, personally speaking, the PPP is more important because, as you all know, I think there are maybe many non-economists here. So, but then just to tell you, PPP, I think it's called purchasing power parity. So there is a parity here. So it's exactly it's more relevant because you measure the cost of living, of a particular economy or society, in the prevailing circumstances in that country itself. Now, so it's more relevant. I would say PPP is more relevant. That's more realistic compared to the USA dollars. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, anyone have questions? Okay. Uh, Thank you, sir, once again. If there is no questions, then we can wind up first session, and we'll. Thank you, sir, for your
Yeah, yeah.
indulgence.
You have let me go,
No,
and
no,
it
no,
has.
sir, I know, I know. You are, you have give times. I know how you are busy with some other administrative work. So yes, sir. Yeah, okay, sir.
Thank you.
Here we will end our first sessions. We'll shortly start our second session, which is important for our learners. So we are also going to conduct one session on project preparation. Some of our learners have very good in activities, research activities, and doing some one. So they will present, and from them, others learners will get idea how to go for their preparation. So this is our motto: is to make the students aware of how to go for project preparation. Maybe some innovations, small but maybe effective innovative way they can think. So
Definitely.
this is included in the course curriculum. However, we have taken it very seriously, so that our all part of Northeast India have joined in our session, so that they can carry forward this learning to the others also. So
Thank you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much, Dr. Rahul. In fact, actually, what you have said, actually, small is always beautiful. We
Okay.
start creative destruction also starts in a small way. That's why the initiative that you have taken with all your participants, it means a lot. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I also thank all the participants who are present here itself, and who very patiently listened to me, and the very best to all of you, to them and to you, Dr. Rahul, as an
Thank you,
institution,
sir.
the initiatives that you have taken. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I'm taking leave of all of you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Here we end the first session. We'll join shortly. Give me some 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. We'll again join the second